All right. Wiggle your shoulders. Wiggle your body, wiggle your neck. Look for any places. And when I say look, I don't mean look, I mean close your eyes and look inside for any places that are tight. Pulling anywhere, tugging anywhere, sore anywhere. What's the state of the union of your body today? Check in as well with your breath and your lungs, your mind. What's your mindset like? How you feeling about the day, the evening? And then use that process of coming inward, exhale, gentle exhale through your nostrils. I don't think there's anybody new today, but if there's a new person, welcome. Welcome to our little chair yoga tribe. And I'd like you to get straight into your full lung capacity. Just for a few breaths, maybe 5. Just investigate your lung capacity. What does everything feel like? Is there a smoothness to your breath? Is there a catch anywhere? Do you feel like you might be breathing more in one side than the other? We're going to play with that today. We're going to do some advanced breath work today. And we don't often think about the anatomy of our lungs. But as that cool air from outside swirls down through around the back of your throat, past your sinuses, see how much you can feel and discover just by following the breath. Let the breath be your guide. Most of you have some knowledge of what you look like inside. Wherever you gleaned that knowledge from, it doesn't matter. It's all part of your picture of yourself, your inner body. So see if you can use that right now. Some of it might be wrong, some of it might be right. Watch the passage of the air. And if you've practiced with me, especially, I can't remember if we did this in Costa Rica or not, but if you practice with me on any kind of regular basis, you've definitely done this work. We're going to do some Nadi Shodhana breathing today, which is alternate nostril breathing, which we have done. Larry, your hair looks great. Which we have done here in this format, but not a lot of. I think we did some with both thumbs. And we're going to continue the work with both thumbs today, but we're going to work on one lung and then the other. So just to begin, take your hands to your ribs and take a few breaths in and out. Just notice what that feels like. We've done lots of this. You should be quite familiar with the way your ribs open and close and the sliding sensation of the fascia underneath your fingers. And by fascia, I mean skin and fat, myofascial tissue, and then the lungs themselves, bones, the lungs. And now keeping your hands exactly where they are, breathe into your left hand. Do you notice how that lights up your left nostril and your left sinus? Take a couple more. It's mostly just in your head, that sensation, but that's exactly where you want it to be. Breathe into your left lung. Expand your left hand. See if you can keep your right hand perfectly still. Do that a couple of times, almost like you have a bellows on the side of your body. Your left hand is moving out and back. And now switch sides. Try to move your right hand out. And sometimes when we do this, we try and do this with our jaw. We go like this. We lift our right eyebrow And we make our face look really funny. See if you can soften your face. Couple more times into your right hand. I can't help it. My right eye jiggles a little bit. The right corner of my mouth jiggles a little bit. Now release your hands down to your chest. Sorry, to your legs. Take a few equal breaths, symmetrical breaths. And go up the steps here. So get bigger and bigger. In through your nose, out through your nose. Bigger breath. Keep your face soft. Don't breathe with your face. Just breathe with your lungs. Step up a little higher. Now I'd like you to take the biggest step that you can. So we're getting to the top of the stairs here, and you look up and there's a huge step, and you're going to step way up onto it. You can even use your hands to pull you up onto that step. I want you to get your lungs as big as you can, both sides. You don't think you can do it. You don't think you can get any bigger. Get bigger, bigger, bigger. And release, long, slow exhale. And now we're going to move to alternate nostril breathing. So I'll mirror you this time so it's less confusing. It might be more confusing for me, but it might be less confusing for you. So take your right thumb to your right nostril. So I'm mirroring you. Close that nostril. And then just breathe into your left lung. In and out a couple of times. This is exactly what we were doing before, except we had our hands on our ribs. If you like, you can take your left hand and put it on your ribs, same as we were doing before. And now switch sides. Cover your left nostril with your left thumb. Take your hands, put it on your right ribs. Inhale, exhale into your hand. Now you may notice already that your heart rate starts to slow. You may notice saliva production in your mouth. All of those hallmarks of moving into parasympathetic tone, resting, digesting. And then return your hands to your legs. Take a couple of symmetrical breaths. Climb up the stairs again. Take 3. And remember, as you do this, you're expanding your ribs in all directions now. We're gaining a lot of control, exquisite control of where you're breathing into in your lungs. Get bigger, climb up another step. That last step, that impossible step, that step that's really, really full, climb up. Really big, inflate the lungs really big. And then exhale gently. Long exhale. Okay, let's move into Nadi Shodhana, breathing from side to side. I'll mirror you again. You can start on, well, let's start on the right side. So I'm going to take my left hand, close my left nostrils, and take an exhale and an inhale through my right nostril. Into the right lung. Switch hands. Left lung now. Exhale. Inhale into the left lung. Switch sides. Find your own rhythm, whatever feels right to you. Exhale. Right lung, right nostril. Find a rhythm that you can focus on. Eyes are closed. It can be slower or faster than me. Two more cycles. When you're finished, swallow. And bring your hands gently back to your knees. And you might notice your heartbeat is sped up a little bit. Who knows? Because that was a fair amount of breath work. Let's climb those stairs again. Take the biggest breath you can and then exhale deeply and long. Climb the next stair. Big stair. It's like doing the grind. And exhale. Notice anything in your teeth, the back of your mouth, any softening. Last step, biggest one. Big inhale. You can hold if you like, more gently. Slowest exhale. Slow, tiny, just a tiny bit of air escaping through your nostrils. And then eventually keeping the softness in your forehead, your eyes, your body. Gently flutter your eyes open. Smile. Now let's start with Sufi grind. And we'll just do it almost as if like maybe like you can't even see me. I'm just doing it with my pelvis. Just my pelvis. Just this tiny little rocking in your pelvis. Really focus, close your eyes. And just imagine it's entirely done with your abs and your back muscles. Very small movement. Just rocking around like a weeble. Remember weebles wobble? That they don't fall down. That will be completely lost on anyone who isn't my age or older. But I can't even think of an equivalent to something that we have now. But it's kind of like a gimbal on a boat, except it's in 360 degrees. So your chest actually stays more or less stationary and you just move. If you do belly dancing, you'll know how to do this. I'm like the world's worst belly dancer. Okay, switch directions. Just a tiny movement. And don't worry, we're going to go into the regular one in a second, but I want you to get this tiny movement and feel all the stuff happening where your femur, the big bone of your leg, meets your hips, your pelvis, your hip joint. And then come into big Sufi grind. Notice how it feels different, but you still have that sensation. So we're kind of separating out the sensations. You still have all that sensation in your hips. And it doesn't have to be a lot with your arms. When we're focusing on hips, it doesn't have to be a lot with your arms. I'm just sort of stabilizing. I'm making the movement with my arms for sure, but I'm feeling much more of it in my hips. Switch directions. And this is a really great move for low back sensitivity or pain, because you can make it small or you can make it big. And that small thing that we just did, really great for low back, because there's not that much movement. You're not stressing the discs, but you're really building up the muscles of your back. Switch directions again. You're really building up the muscles of your abs and your back, which is what you need when you have low back stuff going on. So switch one last time. And then come to neutral. And then we're going to do the same thing with cat-cow. See how you can't see my chest moving much? But we've done this before. I'm tilting my pelvis one way and then the other. My legs are crossed. You can do whatever. You can also do this with the soles of your feet together or your feet extended. It's a small movement, but it takes a lot of ab work. So you're making your back into a tiny bit of a C. And Lara's doing it on hands and knees. And it's really effective on hands and knees if you really prioritize your hips. So you're barely even bringing your shoulders into the equation. You will, of course, be doing work in your shoulders because your shoulders are keeping you stable. It's just your hips. I'm going to show you. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's really hard to keep your shoulders stable. This is it's like a belly dancer thing. Keep your shoulders very stable. Tuck and untuck your pelvis. And it can be quite fatiguing. And then come into full cat-cow. Drop your head, make your big C curve. Exhale, curve. Inhale, arch or extend. Now, if you are on the floor, you can tuck your toes and come up to downward facing dog. If you're on the couch or the chair, snuggle your way forward a little bit. Extend your feet forward if you're doing that. It's a little too far forward for me. Flex your feet. And let's go into sun salutes. We'll go into sun salutes with an emphasis on your hips. So we did this 3 times yesterday. Let's do that again. Inhale, overhead. We're getting faster with this. Exhale, fold. Sorry, yes, if you're standing, you got to come up to standing before. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, forward. Just gently. This is gentle stuff, especially at the beginning. Inhale, right leg back or in. And exhale, drop into your lunge or curl your forehead to your knee. Inhale, long spine. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, forward, upward facing dog or cobra the first time. And then exhale, cat pose, downward facing dog. Right foot comes forward or left knee comes in. Long spine, pull your spine parallel to your shin bone. Exhale, fold. Inhale. And we're going to forward fold again. Here we go. Make it soft and juicy and delicious feeling. Forward fold. Inward long spine. So today I'm wearing a sweater. And why does that matter, Nikki? You ask. I'm going to tell you. Inhale up. Neutral, mountain pose. I'm taking it really easy today because I don't want to get too sweaty because I'm wearing a sweater. It's just possible to do this really easily. Let's do the second side. Inhale, overhead. So if you need a break or you're wearing a sweater, just reduce the scope of your movements. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. I'm keeping my breath a little shorter too. Inhale, left foot back or left knee in. Long spine. Squeeze your spine parallel to your shin bone here. Exhale, drop down into your lunge or drop your forehead towards your knee. And then inhale, long spine. And then exhale, push back, downward facing dog, neutral pose in the chair. Beautiful chaturanga Kara's doing. This is the time for it. Here we go. Ripple forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, ripple backwards, downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward or right knee comes in. Squeeze that right knee. And then exhale, tuck. Inward, long spine. Forward fold. Big half lift. Just because I'm taking it easy doesn't mean my movements are not still large and graceful. And I'm going to the edge of my range of motion. Inhale up. Exhale, neutral. That's one sun salute. Beautifully done. Here we go. Once again, inhale overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, long spine. Spine is parallel to the floor. Look at Lara. Exhale, fold. Right leg back or in. Squeeze your chest towards your leg and then exhale, drop down into that lunge or curl your forehead towards your knee. Another breath in your lunge, drop your shoulders. And then exhale, neutral chaturanga if you're doing it. Push back to downward facing dog after. Inhale. Cobra pose, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Right foot comes forward or left knee comes in. And exhale, curl. Can you find somewhere that you didn't feel yesterday? Inhale, lengthen your spine, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Big inhale. Big exhale. Reverse swan dive. Exhale, neutral. Lara's bending her knees a little bit, which is really nice. That's half done. Here we go. Inhale, overhead. Fill your lungs. Remember that top step. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half left, lift, top step. Exhale, fold. Left knee in or back. Exhale, curl. Inhale, bring your belly and your spine and everything towards your legs. And then exhale to neutral. Chaturanga if you're doing it. Ripple forward, cow pose if you're seated. Use those hands. Use your arm muscles. Exhale, downward facing dog. And this time, left foot comes forward or right knee comes in. Take your lunge, exhale, round. Big inhale. And exhale, here we go. Step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, long spine. What I didn't mention is that I totally suck at taking it easy even when I try. So I'm getting sweaty. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, neutral. I'm going to redouble my efforts to stay calm. Last, sun salute. Make it what you need. Does it need to be soft? Does it need to be quick? Do you need to have lots of vigorous movement, or do you need to just focus on your breath? Here we go. Inhale, overhead. Top step with your breath. Exhale, fold. Bottom step with your breath. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Big inhale, right foot comes back or in. And exhale, drop into your lunge. Feel your psoas. Big inhale. Exhale, neutral or chaturanga. Bend your knees if you're seated. Big inhale. Upward facing dog. Lift your chin a little. Exhale, downward facing dog or cat pose. Engage your abs here. Inhale, long spine. Left knee comes in or right knee comes forward into a lunge. Exhale, fold. Deepen your lunge. Inhale, long spine. And forward fold. Step forward. Graceful forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Make it really juicy and flowy. If you're taking it easy, make it vigorous and big. If you're going for your full body workout, exhale, neutral. Other side. Here we go. Can you hear my big, huge breath? Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Spine is long, make space between your vertebrae, and then exhale, fold. Left foot goes back or left knee comes in. Lift your crown of your head towards the ceiling if you're seated, and then exhale, fold the forehead towards your knee. Inhale, make your spine parallel to your shin bone. Pull your shin bone in. And then exhale, find neutral. Chaturanga if you're doing it. Downward facing dog if you're not. Ripple forward, upward facing dog or cobra. And just watch your wrists, watch your shoulders, watch your body here as you ripple back, downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward into the lunge, right knee comes up if you're seated, long spine. Exhale, curl. Inhale, long spine. Last big, delicious forward fold. Big inhale. Use your belly muscles, use your back muscles. Pull your chest a little bit towards your device. Raise your chin a touch. And then exhale. Liquid forward into your forward fold. I've never used liquid as a verb before. Usually I say liquefy. But I kind of like it. Kind of works fine neutral. Find Tadasana, drop your hands. Even if you're sitting on your couch, bring the soles of your feet to the floor. If you're sitting on the couch or the chair, you might want to stand up at this point. You can stay sitting down if you like. Stand in mountain pose, and we're just going to go through our mountain pose. So this works for the chair and the floor. It's really effective on the floor because we're lengthening the whole body. So wiggle your toes, lift them up and push them down. And then push especially your big toes into the floor, but all your toes. Find some energy that ripples up through your legs. Tiny bend in your knees. It's almost imperceptible, but there's a little bit going on behind the patella. The patella is your kneecap. And then ripple some energy up through your belly. Tuck your bottom rib a little bit. You can even reach your bottom rib with your fingers and tuck it back a little bit. And then make your shoulders be heavy and far apart and taken by gravity. Fingers are heavy, spread and wide. Make your jawbone parallel to the floor. Soften your face. You don't need your face to stand up. Soften your forehead. And let's take a forward fold half lift here. We can do this on the chair as well, but I'll do it standing just to show. I'm just going to kind of workshop the half lift. This is kind of a workshopy class because that breath that we did, I usually only do that in workshops and on retreats as well. Inhale overhead. Keep that same posture, Tadasana mountain pose. Exhale, swan dive forward fold. You can sit down if you prefer. Release the back of your head and nod it yes. And feel softness at the back of your neck. So here you've got a rounding of your spine and you're feeling the tugging. The weight of your head helps you here. And then we're going to come to half lift. I don't know how good my half lift is at the moment, but what I would really like you to do is bring your shoulder blades back down your back. Janet and I were just talking about shoulder blades, scapula. Pull them down your back. You can practice here a couple of times. Pull them up and down. And then pull them down as if they're going into your jeans pockets. Am I wearing jeans? Yes, I am. Okay, so I'm trying to push my scapula down into my jeans pockets. And ideally, I want my spine as parallel to the floor as I can. Flexible people do this. People with hamstring issues or shortness in the hamstrings do this. And the way to correct it is if you're super flexible, you use your belly a lot and come up a little bit and push out through the front of the top of your head, as if my hand is on the top of your head. Really push out. If you've got hamstring stuff going on, the way to kind of prevent that or to make your spine long is bend your knees a little bit more and still have that same, imagine my hand on the top of your head and you're pushing into it. That's half lift. And then we're going to forward fold again. And release the top of your head. And then reverse swan dive your way up. I never, ever anymore, this is just tales from midlife, I never round my spine and come up. I believe that's possible to do safely if you have a very strong belly, but I've been doing that for too long. I have too much space and too much laxity in the connective tissue in my low back. So what I'm doing every time I come up, I'm really using my belly and I'm coming up with a straight spine. That's not for everyone. That's just for me because I want to practice for a long time. I don't want my low back to get wrecked. Okay, beautiful. Stand in mountain pose, stand in neutral pose. Sorry, sit in neutral pose. Take a breath. Let's get into some hip work. So we're going to open to our old standby goddess. Step apart if you're standing. If you're seated, hands come to your knees. If you're standing, you can take the full arms like this and then twist your hands down and up again. And then bring them to your knees and drop your right shoulder and then your left shoulder. So I'd like you to get this sensation. It's really easy to get a sensation across the big muscles of your back here, but I'd really like you to try and take the sensation into your hips as much as you can. This is a full body stretch. Stretches the shoulder girdle and the hip girdle. But today we're really focusing on the hip girdle. So if it helps, push your knees apart with your hand. A few more breaths. And then come gently back up. And extend your left leg. Keep your right leg bent. We're going to come into warrior two. And bend your front knee, your right knee. Bring your hands out. Just take a breath here. And then no matter where you are, whether you're on your chair or whether you're standing, we're going to inhale, bring the fingertips to touch. Come up a little bit, and you come up on the chair by pushing into your feet, same way you do on the floor, and then exhale down. Just that the movement on the couch is very small. It's still very effective, maybe more effective. Push into the floor, inhale your hands overhead. If you're standing, you're coming up like an inch. Exhale down. If you're standing, you can come down a little extra every time. Inhale up. Last two, exhale down. If you're standing, your right knee is over your right ankle. Last one, if you're seated, the alignment doesn't matter quite as much. Take a break, take a breath. And switch sides. So if you're standing, just switch sides. If you're seated, you're going to have to change. Extend your right leg, bend your left leg. Find your arms again, parallel with the floor. Take a breath. Find your feet on the floor, no matter where you are. And here we go. Inhale up, push your feet into the floor. Exhale down. So there's this micro movement happening in my pelvis where I push up. You'll feel it in your hips. Exhale down. If it feels impossible to you, it's really not. Just put a little pressure, even if you can only put pressure into your left foot. Exhale down. Two more, push into the floor. Inhale up, exhale down. Release everything if you're seated. This is much more vigorous if you're standing, but it's a little more into the hips if you're seated. And then exhale down. And let's find wide-legged forward fold here. Squiggle your toes around. You can flex your feet if you're on the couch. Make sure you find your balance before you do it, and exhale, forward fold. Hang out here. Normally we might do some shoulder stuff here, but today I really want to emphasize the hips. So let's bring the body over to your left side. And bring the body over to your right side. Do that one more time. Come on over to your left. Come on over to your right. Come back up to neutral, and if you're standing, jump your feet together to hip width apart. If you're on the couch, bring them together to hip width apart. And now, bend your left knee and straighten your right and fold your body over your right leg. Grab your right leg wherever you can. Thigh, knee, shin, toe, and pull. Especially on the exhale. One more, exhale, pull. Bend the other leg, bend your right leg, straighten your left. And the thing is, if you're standing, you still want a little micro bend in your left leg, but if you're seated, you can pretty much straighten that left leg and pull your body over top. You're getting a tiny bit of a twist here. And pull your body over your left leg. Gently come back up to neutral. If you're standing, come down to seated. If you're on the couch, this is better on the floor. So if you're on a chair and you can come forward, come forward. You can do this on the chair. It just looks more like this. Make a diamond with your feet. So put your soles of your feet together. Grab your ankles, or if you're seated, up, you're going to grab your legs and butterfly gently. Close your eyes, soften everything. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Deep exhale through your nose. One more. And now on your exhale, pull forward. You can use your elbows to push your knees towards the floor. If you're up on the chair, looks like this. Push your knees apart, whatever you can do. You can also, if you're on the chair, come back a little bit and spread your knees and push apart wherever you're getting sensation in your inner legs. Last breath. Push your way gently up. If you're lying on the floor, come back into happy baby pose. So come up and grab the outside of your feet. If you're sitting on the chair, we're going to do half happy baby. So reach as far down your right leg as you can towards your foot and just pull your leg towards your armpit. If you're on the chair, you want to do both sides. Reach wherever you can. Maybe you could reach under your knee and just pull your knee towards your armpit. And then release. If you're on the floor, you clamp both of your palms over top of your knees and make some big knee circles, moving your femurs around in your pelvis. Here on the chair, we do that with one leg, both directions. Both legs. Finding that juicy, soft, non-clicky feeling in your hips. You will have some clicking. A little bit. Let's see if you can soften away from it. I got lots of clicking, especially on the left side. Come back to center. Figure 4. Take your right foot up onto your left knee. If you're on the floor, you're doing exactly the same thing. We're not going to spend a lot of time here because I used up a lot of time already. Find your forward fold. We've done this a lot already, so you know where you're going. Find your fold. If you're lying down, pull your legs towards you. Gently release and find the other side. You can use your hands to help your legs around. Be gentle with your body. Left leg up. Find your little forward fold here. We want sensation around the left hip here. Gently release. If you're on the floor, you can work your way back to Shavasana. If you're seated, bring your hands to your knees. We're going to do one last thing before Shavasana. I think this was super effective the other day. Push your right foot towards your device or your right knee towards your device. Push it and hold it. Really push. Take a few breaths. Really push. My right knee is coming forward. My left knee is going back. That's why I have my hands on them. And then switch. If you're on the floor, push your left leg towards your device, away from your head. Really push, especially on the exhale. Really push. And then take a few where you just go side to side. So push your right knee or your right foot and your left knee or your left foot. Just take a few. What happens is your pelvis is going back and forth like this. And then finally find your way to relaxation, whatever that looks like. If you're on the couch, move back so that you can feel the chair behind your knees. And we don't have a lot of time for relaxation, so call on your tools. Call on the tools we've been using, that long, deep exhale. Swallow gently and feel as if warm water has poured over your body. Notice any tingling and extinguish the tingling with that warm water. What can you let go? What is the sensation between your eyebrows? Find any tightness, release it, open your face. And then gently start to come back. And you know how to come back. Deepen your breath. Sparkle your cheekbones. Light up your eyebrows. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Swallow. Drop your shoulders. And take a little smile. Open your eyes gently. If you're on the floor, come up very gently. Remember to go over to one side first. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday. I now feel it is my civic duty to say the day of the week. It was really good to see everyone. I'm going to unmute you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Nikki.
Have a good evening. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Nikki.
Bye. Let me know what you want for tomorrow. If you want shoulders or hips, we'll take a vote. Bye. Thanks, Lara.
Hi. Hi, Katja.
Hey, Lara.
Hi, Janet. Oh, so fun. So fun to see everybody. Hi, Grandma Diane.
Hi. Thank you. Lara.
Good job, Katja. Can't believe you made it. Whee!
So happy I missed it.
You what?
I'm sad I was missing it for so many days.